Welcome to the Swirl Suite, everybody. So it's just me and our special guest, Alicia Ortiz. How are you?
I'm great. And yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. No complaints. Welcome to the Swirl Suite.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here today. I know we had the chance to meet for the first time in person last year, so I'm super excited to be here today.
Yes, of course. Please introduce yourself to everybody and tell everybody what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Alicia Ortiz, and I am the head of marketing at Sipped, which is a personal wine recommender and online marketplace that uses artificial intelligence to match you to wines for your unique taste profile.
And so when we met in person, I did download the app. So I've been playing with it, just going through all the features. It's really fancy. I've used wine apps before, but this was very impressive.
Thank you. We really pride ourselves on having a very intuitive, easy to understand interface that's just super modern and, approachable. At the end of the day, it's all about affordability and personalization.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the features of the app.
Yeah. So like I said, we launched our mobile application in spring of 2021. So it's completely free on the Apple and Google Play stores. And it is all about approachability to wine and personalization to wine, because at the end of the day, we all have very unique taste preferences. So essentially, we really provide you with being able to give you easy to understand, I like to say bite-sized pieces of wine information.
Okay.
To really help you, feel more confident in your wine purchasing decisions, as well as your wine selection decisions when you're out at a grocery store or at a restaurant. So when it comes to those feature elements, taste match is the biggest thing with personalized recommendations. And essentially what that is this 1 to 100% personalized wine score that tells you how much you're going to enjoy the wine.
And do you take a survey or something before is that the taste match kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a super simple process to get started. Essentially, once you download the app and sign up, we get to learn you a little bit more, and we ask you what different wine styles and wine varietals you enjoy. And then from there, we ask you to rate 3 wines you've had in the past. So whether you really love the wine, whether you had a bad experience with that wine and you don't want us to recommend something similar, you input that on a 1 to 5 star scale. And that is what unlocks your taste match to tens of thousands of wines on our platform.
Gotcha. So I was following your social media recently, and I saw that you have a feature that helps you pick out a wine for a group.
Yes. One of my favorites, definitely one of my favorites. We launched it right before the holiday season, which is super timely considering, of course, the holidays, you're typically with friends, family, and loved ones. And that is called Combined Taste Match. It essentially allows, let's say you and I are having a little girls' night out and we're going to a restaurant. I can tell the app that you and I are dining together, take a photo of a restaurant wine menu, and we're going to see which wines best match our palate. So it essentially, combines our taste profiles to see recommendations for the group.
That's so nice. And also I noticed in the app that you guys have different categories for wine. So I know I thought I wrote them down. Okay. So I saw dry January, which is really cool. That seems to be really popular. So you have all your light and dry wines. It's cool. What's for dinner and budget friendly?
Yes. So we have driest January, which is our take on dry January.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's 2 different wine lists. We have a low ABV wine. So if you're wanting to partake in the trend, watch your alcohol intake a little bit for the start of the year, you have those options, and we serve up those top matches to you. So essentially anything that's above that 90 percentile taste match score. And then we also have dry wines. So if you don't want to partake in a low ABV, just pick a dry wine to enjoy and have a good time. Everything is, again, tailored to your personal preferences. And then when you mentioned the What's for Dinner collection, that is easily one of our most enjoyed collections that we have within the application, because it's really just easy wine pairings to certain foods that you typically pair with. So you have, your collection of top matches for steak or poultry or potatoes. And one of my favorites, coffee and chocolate, because I have a major sweet tooth.
That's so cool. And you're budget friendly.
Yeah. Well, everyone loves a good deal.
Yeah.
So budget friendly
is
essentially your top taste match wines under $20. Easily the most shopped collection for me personally, because I like to have, an everyday drinker just on hand. I don't have to worry about, if I'm having friends over, it's it's going to be a crazy expensive bottle that I'm trying to save for a special occasion or
Sure.
holiday. So yeah, it's a really, really wonderful collection that makes it super easy to find some good value wines.
So two questions. So the first one, does the app tell you where to get these wines? And how do you guys select the wines that are in the app?
Yeah. So when it comes to where you can buy them, we connect to 3 different retailers.
Okay.
The largest is wine.com. Second, we have Wine Spies, which does really amazing deals, like up to 70% off on unique long tail wines. And then we also have Calvert Woodley, which is a DC based wine shop.
Very nice. I love that place.
I know, you're so close. You have to stop on back. Yeah, so it's great to be able to order online. And then with Calvert Woodley, of course, you can pick up in store, considering they are in the DC area if you're over there.
I love that. I love that. Oh, and I also noticed the blogs that are within the app.
Everything for us goes back to that approachability standpoint. So really when it comes to the blog topics, we kind of separated into 2 different points here. One is just Wine 101. It's that super easy to understand basic bits of information that are going to help you feel a lot more confident within your selections and overall wine education. And then 2 is really just tips on how to get the most out of SIP within the blog. So we really highlight some of our major features, like going back to the restaurant wine menu scanner that lets you snap a photo of a wine menu and see which wines you're going to like, as well as few food pairings, filter by like price point, just really wonderful features like that. And then also new releases when it comes to what else you can explore with the app. So we show you how to combine your taste maps with friends, the invite process, and everything similar.
So our last guest, he was also in marketing, but he was a marketer for a winery. He said that his job was pretty much to brag about the winery. So, so tell me about your role with SIP and what you do.
Well, I definitely have to agree with that one. It's fun too because it's wine.
Yeah.
But really, we're a small startup based out of DC. So there's less than 10 of us on the team, which means everyone really wears a lot of different hats at SIP, which I like because it really just means that none of my days are the same and you get to really bounce around between a lot of topic points. For myself, I handle a lot of the traditional public relations and traditional media. So let's say press releases, pitches, and media reach outs. That also can shift. So different brand activations between consumers and consumer tastings where we can showcase the product in person or showcase the application in person, as well as different like industry events like you and I initially collaborated on and met in person.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes like content creation. So showing off the features, whether that be with a TikTok, an Instagram reel, and content that really ties back to that initial wine education for that younger consumer just getting started who's wanting to learn about their palate, build it, and trust it.
Mm-hmm.
And the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Truly.
What do you love about your job? And on the other hand, like what is the most challenging part about your role?
Yeah. Well, so when it comes to the loves, a big thing is conversation. Like I genuinely just love being able to engage with people. And it's kind of like multifaceted there. So when it comes to the application, the company SIP really does love to do user feedback calls. It essentially helps us, one, get connected with our audience, understand their likes and their dislikes, but 2, help us mold that to frame the application for future use. So it's really wonderful to be able to actually talk to people who are using the app, understand what they're liking about it and what we can change for that. And then 2, it's also just like engagements like this. It's fun to be able to talk to people who have that similar passion and love for the industry and just have a good time. There's also industry connections. We're actually starting up a ambassador program for sommeliers and wine educators that really, put SIP in the foreground of, but again, between that like younger beginner wine drinker. And we're really wanting to further assist sommeliers and educators and in-house somms to have good conversations with that average consumer who feels that like wine pressure and wine anxiety when they're at a store and uncertain about their selections or at a restaurant and confused by that wine menu. So really trying to like bridge that gap when it comes to consumers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, conversation in general when it comes to loves. And then to get to more of those challenging positions, I really can't complain with the industry I'm in. Again, wine is fun. Technology advancement is really cool. I come from an aerospace background, so I've always been very much so intrigued with different innovations and projects in that manner. But it's really about just keeping up with digital marketing. Everything is ever changing, whether it be a social media algorithm or SEO changes on the background or a Google platform. We just have to keep up with what's happening and make those iterations.
Now back up. You said you have a background in aerospace. How, wait, how did this happen? What was the shift?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shift. So I grew up on the Space Coast of Florida. Have you ever traveled to like Kennedy Space Center or Central Florida?
No. Mm-mm.
I highly recommend it. Get away from the winter months in DC and come down to the sunshine in Florida. But yeah, I grew up on the Space Coast of Florida, which really just means that I saw a lot of the launches from Kennedy Space Center or NASA in my backyard. And I mean that, like, I would feel the windows of my home shake because we were that close. So naturally, that just really piqued my interest into the field. Granted, I am in no way an engineer or scientist or anything technical in that regard. I'm in communications and marketing for a reason. So I entered within their public affairs office at one of NASA's prime contractors at Kennedy. Had a wonderful time, went into media relations, government affairs. It was social media content creation and just about everything in between before I really shifted from Kennedy Space Center to MORI Associates, which is another NASA contractor based in Maryland, where I connected with the CTO of that company, Blake Hershey, in 2019, who told me about his idea for SIFT. And then that's really where we transitioned from aerospace communications to wine tech communications.
Wow. Interesting. So were you a wine drinker before you started to work with SIFT?
Yes and no. So
okay.
I liked wine, but I was very much so at that beginning stage of my journey where I was coming from drinking the Moscato at CVS, coming from the cheapest wine that I could get and have a good time with my girlfriends. Wine was very much social and around conversation and just having a good time when I was catching up with my friends. But I really saw that vision that Blake told me about when it came to creating a more inclusive wine experience for those younger, less experienced wine drinkers, because I was that person. And it was really breaking down that like traditional view of wine as intimidating and confusing and maybe snob-like at times, and really seeing myself and who he was creating the app for. I knew I wanted to join the team.
So how much has your palate changed? What are some of the wines that you like now?
Yes. Cab Francs, I am always down. I will never say no. I also really love Sangiovese and Viognier. But my palate has really shifted. I used to be a lot more of, like the sweet, again, Moscatos and Rieslings.
Yeah. Went
into some of the whites, Pinot Gris, Viognier, and now I'm like red 95% of the time.
Yeah. That's usually how it starts. That's awesome, though.
Yes. How about yourself? What are some of your favorites?
Oh, goodness. There are so many factors that affect what I'm in the mood for. This week I've been drinking a lot of reds because it's so cold. Record low temperatures here and snow. So a lot of big reds and like tomato-based soups, that kind of thing. A lot of that. But sparkling is always going to be number one. I love cavas. Some nice Prosecco's that are well done. Let's see. Anything bubbles. I like champagne. It's not always in my budget most of the time, but I drink a little bit of everything. But right now, honestly, it's big reds or either bubbles.
Yeah. I think that's definitely like around the time for the seasonal hit of the end of the holiday season, start of the new year, and then the cold. And I feel you because I'm in Chicago right now, and it has been snowing for the past couple of days.
Oh my goodness!
It's outside, and I think I'm just going to open up a bottle of red right after this podcast interview as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. So we have a handful of closeout questions to ask you. We'll both answer them. It should be fun. Okay. The first question is, what do you do for fun?
Yes. So I am a big family gal. I come from a very close-knit Hispanic family. So anytime I am back in Florida, I generally just love spending my time with them. It's all about cooking and, trying different cocktails at home, having karaoke parties, spending time with all of my cousins. Just always a party when I'm with them. And then when I'm, out in a different city, like I typically am going back and forth between like Miami and Chicago and some Washington, D.C. as well. I love cocktails. I love a good happy hour. I love charcuterie boards. I like those experiential places. So anytime I can check out a new shop, a new wine bar, a new restaurant, I'm always down. How about you?
Pretty much the same. I don't come from a super, super big family though, but my niece, she is 5, but she seems like she's a mentally mature 5. So we're playing Monopoly. Monopoly is her game. She loves when people owe her money. So it's really cute to watch her little brain work Monopoly. So that's really fun. I went back to the hotel bar that we met at. I was so impressed. And I know I had to, I was on a tight schedule that day, so I had to leave a little early, but I told my husband, I was like, yes, so we have a new bar. That's it. We have a new bar spot. And so we've been back. Yes. Yeah, I love bars. I love cocktails. I love places with just like a good ambiance,
Mm-hmm.
And definitely, guys, we're talking about the Conrad Hotel. Their rooftop. Well, is it a rooftop? I don't know if it's a rooftop, but their hotel bar is really, really nice.
Had a beautiful view too. I love that view.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody knows I like to cook. So yeah. So I like to eat. I like to cook. So
I love seeing that on your Instagram stories. I'm like, oh, swipe up, fire emoji. Oh,
good. Oh my goodness. So the next question is, do you have a favorite hotel?
Whew, that is hard. That is really hard.
I'm sure you travel a lot. So
I definitely was hit by a travel bug prior to everything, with COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But one experience that really sticks out to me was traveling to Riviera Maya in Cancun at the resort. It was the first time I ever did an all-inclusive experience.
What was the resort name again?
Haven Resort.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I think about 20 to 30 minutes cab ride south of the Cancun airport, but just super nice white sand beach. The staff was just absolutely amazing and hospitable, and everyone just truly wants you to have a relaxing time, and that is all it was. It was amazing pina coladas, probably too frequently. A lot of great seafood and shrimp and scallops, and just so relaxing all the time.
That's nice. That sounds great. Let's see. I don't know if I have a favorite hotel, but I've had a few good experiences in a handful of them. I love the Drake in Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really nice one. I'm pretty much a fan of Kimpton hotels. I like their robes and I know what I'm getting. Sort of modern, always clean. Yeah. So that, I think that's my answer.
You say that too. And I really like the Hyatt Place in DC. I really love the location around like the West End, Georgetown area. Yeah. Again, the staff is just super nice and friendly and like always has a smile on their face, which I love because seeing happy people makes me happy.
Yeah.
Of course. And yeah, it's a really like solid, clean room all the time. You know what you're going to get, the area you're going to be in, and it's safe and comfortable.
Yep. And I love hotels that have happy hours. It's always nice.
Too.
Yeah. Okay. What is your favorite bar snack?
I'm curious to see if you agree with me, but okay. I really prefer almonds that aren't super salted.
Okay. All right. That's nice. So there is a hotel. I've actually never stayed there because it's really, really expensive, but it's the Jefferson Hotel in DC. They don't serve regular bar nuts or bar snacks. They serve pickled vegetables, pickled asparagus, carrots, mushrooms, and I feel like it's one more. But you just get this metal bowl and it has these pickled vegetables in it. They're so good. So good.
Okay. All right. So the next time I'm in DC, we're going to the Jefferson Bar is what you're telling me.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. It's happening.
Great. I actually never tried pickled asparagus, and a lot of pickled thinks, but I keep hearing a lot of great things about it, and it being a nice like crunch
Yeah.
topping on a lot of things like
Yep.
avocado toast and such.
Yep. I actually made some at home. It's pretty easy to make. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
check it out.
Okay. Next question. What reviews are more important, hotel reviews or restaurant reviews?
That one's interesting because for me personally, I'm not one to stay at a super expensive hotel for any need, because if I'm going to a hotel, it's typically because I'm there to travel and see a new city.
Okay.
So personally, I prefer restaurant reviews to really see what items are on the menu when it comes to food. Desserts for sure. Like I love trying out a new dessert, especially if it's something I've never tried in the past.
Yeah.
Whereas the hotel is typically just a place for me to leave a bag, shower, and have a good night's sleep.
Okay. In all true transparency, I have family in Ohio. One time we were staying at a little hotel, it was like garden style walk up or whatever, and it just gave me a bad feeling. It was okay clean, but it just gave me a bad feeling. Anyway, long story short, I had bed bugs after. So I'm going to choose hotel reviews.
Yeah.
So that's most important for me after that experience. But I do understand the restaurant reviews too. Yeah.
Although, no, you bring up a really good point about the hygiene and the sanitation.
Yeah.
Especially because you just don't know.
You don't.
Sometimes getting into a new city.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Especially if I'm going out of the country. Yeah. I'm going to need a recommendation a lot of times. Yeah.
Very true.
All right. Last question. Name a habit that you are trying to break this year.
I'll give you two.
Okay.
One with a habit I'm trying to break, and one with a habit I want to start.
Okay.
So when it comes to breaking, I don't want to look at my social media the first thing in the morning. I think social media is wonderful when it comes to connectivity and really seeing the world through someone else's eyes. I think it's such a beautiful thing, but I also be very distracting, right? And with anything, there can be too much of anything.
Yeah.
So really try more so now, like trying, right, to look at more like newsletters, more industry news, starting off my day with knowledge in that manner instead of immediately going on to a social platform.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to something that I really want to start doing, I want to get into journaling, and just a 5-minute journal. Is that something that you do?
I do. I have two. So I have Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. She has a guided journal. So it's like, and it has questions in there. It has questions on every page, and it sort of prompts you to journal. So, so I have this, and then I don't know if you guys have Five and Below in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you go to their like book, they have a bunch of different journals. So one is called Burn After Reading. And again, it's a bunch of questions and a bunch of prompts. Sometimes you have to circle in, underline things, but it just forces you to think. So yeah, I have those two. So yeah, I'm big into journaling. It's awesome.
Yeah, I really like that too, because it just seems like a nice guided practice to get you started. I really want to focus on practicing gratitude again, because it's something that's so important, but it's also one of those things that if you aren't actively thinking about it, it can so easily be pushed aside with negative emotions or negativity from a day, when in reality, focusing on the positive really does make your day so much better and make you feel so much better mentally and physically and emotionally. And I think everything is tied back to that. So I will be looking into your recommendations.
Yeah, sure. So mine, I mean, of course, you come into the new year with all of these things that you want to change, but I think the two main ones are, for me, you have a sweet tooth, I have a salty tooth. So I like everything salty. So I'm trying to change up, like, and like for breakfast, instead of having like eggs and a piece of toast, having yogurt or a smoothie instead, just trying to change it up a little bit. And then also I started journaling because I really need to change my thought patterns. A lot of times I will think of something negative before the positive comes in. And it just takes, that journey is such a long way. If I just came out the gate and thought positively about things, then I think my actions and behaviors would be a lot different. So
I completely agree with both those things.
Yeah.
When it comes to some breakfast options, I highly recommend chia seed pudding. It is so super easy to make. Have you ever made it? It's literally just almond milk that I put in like a little mason jar. Chia seeds, an excellent source of fiber. And then you're able to really mix in with whatever other items you want. So for me, I put in some frozen mixed berries and some cinnamon.
Okay.
Mix that all up and put it in your fridge. And then the next morning you have like a thick pudding like consistency, and you get to control how sweet or savory you want it.
Wow. Oh, that sounds so good. I have to try it. I have to try it.
And then too, though, when it comes to the journaling component and those negative emotions being the first thing out of your mind, I think it's something that many people struggle with.
Yeah.
Especially I feel like when it comes to what you see online with social media, with that kind of comparison game, that it can be difficult to restructure your mental process. But I think we'll both come out on the other end.
There you go.
Quite positively.
Absolutely. So before we go, please tell everybody where they can follow you and where they can follow SIPT.
Yes. So my Instagram handle is at Alicia Sips. So ALICIA SIPS. And then you can find SIPT on social media at Drink Sipped Everywhere, DRINK SIPPD, so no E. And then our application is completely free on both the Apple and Google Play stores. Just type in SIPT, SIPPD, and you'll be set to download.
Awesome. Alicia, thank you so much for joining me today. This is such a great interview.
Thank you so much for allowing me on the Swirl Suite. I was super excited, and you made the process extremely easy and comforting, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's a lot of hard work sometimes. So hearing those compliments, yes, they go a long way.
Well, I cannot wait to see you in DC next. I will let you know when I'm over there.
Yes, please do. Yeah, I'm sure things will be a lot better. We have to go have a drink.
Yes. All right. Well,
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks for joining the Swirl Suite, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this episode. February is super exciting for us. We have all of our guests lined up, and one of our episodes will have the entire cast of sparklers from Psalm TV. So follow us on Instagram at Swirl Suite about more details about that and all of our other guests. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us 5 stars. Cheers.